It is Dave Lawrence. We're following up an interview that we had on the air yesterday on the show with a gentleman who has been very kind enough to follow up that conversation with us. He's doing a run through Sunday over at the Blue Note, and it is Keb Mo. Thank you so much for being a gentleman and coming through with this follow-up conversation. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, no problem. Glad to do it.
It's great to have you on the show. And so a couple of things that we did not talk about was your earliest years. And I was looking at some of the artwork that's associated with you. There's a great little sticker. It says "Straight Outta Compton." I see near your face. Talk about growing up there, and if you can, the very first musical memories, ways that you think when you look back at your life, this journey of music got started. Maybe somebody in particular seeding you with it. I know a little bit about your parents, and you'll fill in the blanks.
Okay. Well, I guess it all started probably like with the first live music you hear is in church, the Baptist church. So there's that. And my first musical experience with the instrument was playing the trumpet in the 5th grade. So I don't think I'd ever seen any, I'd never seen any live music other than the church before I was, But I started playing the trumpet, and it was the making of the noise, that awful noise that a bunch of 10-year-olds make when they're making
out of key.
It was the most beautiful sound I ever heard in my life. Just wow! I was like, it's just because you don't know really to get it, but years later I realized I'm playing in a band, and something in you goes like, oh, yeah, this is cool. This is cool, And then I see my son is 12 now, I saw videos of him playing flute in the band, and they're making that noise. And they're making that noise. I'm going, that sounds kind of like, it's the most beautiful sound you ever want to hear.
And you say to yourself, I know that sound. I remember those days. When we were talking, we talked a little bit about Zulu. Was Zulu your first band?
No, the Arpeys. Actually, the Young Calatino Steel Band in Compton, California was my first band. Then the next band was Compton High Marching Band. Then there was the Arpeys, ARPA. I don't know what that means, but maybe it's a made-up name.
And then Zulu.
Then Zulu came after that. Zulu. No one's mentioned Zulu for years. It's interesting. Zulu.
Well, it's because when we were talking and then doing your history and then finding the tune on Red Octopus, you've put me on like a Jefferson Starship kick too, FYI. I've been listening to so much Starship ever since our conversation the other day. But so Zulu leads you to Papa John Creech, correct?
Yes, Papa John hired Zulu to play on this Filthy Funky album.
You were with him when you did Flip Wilson's show?
I was.
I loved your haircut in that.
That surface, man. That's like, I was like, oh my God. That's why God took my hair away.
It's beautiful though. It's a really cool, any memories of doing that? Were there other cool TV experiences like that?
There was another show, we did a TV show called Black Omnibus. And it was hosted by none other than James Earl Jones. Oh, wow. I don't know if there's but it was like, I think it didn't last very long, but it was like a variety kind of show.
You get to interact with him?
No.
Was he there hosting it though?
Yeah, he was there. But we didn't know. It was a pre-James Earl Jones, but not the James Earl Jones that became it was that James Earl Jones was an actor, but I was clueless as to what a big deal he was.
And that voice.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And around that same time is when you did the tune, as I just kind of referenced it in our conversation, the tune that ends up on the Starship record, Red Octopus, correct?
Yeah, Get Fiddler.
So back then, you're right, I was checking it out online. Get Fiddler, it's called. #1 album back in 1975. It's a huge record and a huge band. Did you, during that time, I didn't ask you about it, I was curious, Grace Slick, did you get to interact with Grace during your time with Papa John?
Only one time.
Tell the story.
Well, I was back in the age of double knit and I'd go downtown, but I always had these crazy clothes like yellow and pink and blues. I'd wear loud clothes back then. I think I was kind of flashy. And I had these yellow pants on. They were kind of tight.
Went with the hairstyle.
Yeah. And Grace Slick comes by. She goes like, "Ooh, man, nice pants. Whoa, dude." That was my interaction with Grace Slick.
And that was it?
Yeah, that was all.
Wow, that's interesting. And another thing that we only kind of graced by it, but I thought, wow, he probably learned a lot in this gig. You were in the house band at Marla's Memory Lane, which was Marla Gibbs, who was the maid on the Jeffersons, right? Talk about getting that gig, and when you look back at it, some of the highlights of, because those are cool. Like I had Jimmy Vaughn on the other day, and he was telling me all about the bands he got to back when he was at Antone's and stuff in Texas. So similarly with yourself, who were some of the cats that you got to back that you look back at and you're like, man, I'm so stoked that we got to do this or we got to do that and this happened one night?
Well, yeah, that was my new beginning, the Who Done It band. It was I was subbing for Spencer Bean, who had actually taken my place in the Papa John Creech band when I left the band, and so Spencer, so we would trade gigs, and he would sub out when he got someone who's got a different gig or got some double. So anyway, Spencer left town, and he left me this gig for 2 weeks. I was supposed to play it for 2 weeks, and I ended up playing it for about 3 years because he never came back to get his gig. And he stayed in Atlanta, and that was a gig that taught me all about the blues.
Who were the cats who came through there?
Well, there was Monk Higgins, and he was his band. And Albert Collins came through one time. Big Joe came through one time, Big Joe Turner. Billy Preston came through there, Mary Clayton, Pee Wee Creighton, Bobby McClure, and just people would come by that were just really great blues men. And I learned how to play the blues from Charlie Tuna, his real name was Charles Dennis, who ended up being B.B. King's guitar player. For the last chapter of B.B. King, when the Leon got sick and he left the band, and Charlie took his place. Charlie was my mentor in the Who Done It band.
Marla's was, how big of a joint was this?
Just a little supper club, not very big.
Like the Catalina, like a couple hundred people?
The old Catalina, not the one on Vine now, but the one on Vine was about big as that one. Yeah.
And so let's dial in on at least one or two of those names. So Billy Preston, I mean, God bless him. What's your memory? Was there any cool story attached, or what'd you get out of that?
Yeah, all of a sudden I look over there, we're all band, and Billy Preston jumped on the piano, started playing and singing stuff. I think he sung like that song. Come bring me your man. No, what did he sung something?
You didn't do Will It Go Round in Circles?
He probably did a Ray Charles song or something. He did something like that. Billy came in, and it was just a great Monday night hang, Blue Monday at Marla's Memory Lane. Marla would come in sometime, just make an appearance. I was giving Marla shows up because she was a big star and everything, and it was great.
Sherman Hemsley or any of those dudes come in?
No, I never saw Sherman. I did see the girl that played Regina King. I think she came in one time. Who played the girl on Two Room Two? Not what was that show? She had another show after that where she was the star. Yeah, and so anyway,
cool gig though. Sounds like a very cool gig.
It was where it was my new start because I had flopped. My Rainmaker record had flopped so bad, and I had no gigs after that, and that was my first steady gig after that record.
Do you ever play anything from that? I've been listening to the Rainmaker record after our conversation because I love things like that. I love that title track. It's so cool because the Oklahoma song, once I started grooving on that, I was like, wow, this could almost have fit on that record in some ways.
Well, I pulled two songs off that record and re-recorded. The first one, the Keb Mo album, is Anybody Seen My Girl, I re-recorded it just solo, just me. But the one on Rainmaker has strings and it's a big old thing, and so, but I did it just with the guitar on the Keb Mo record, and Rainmaker on Slow Down, I re-recorded Rainmaker.
And when you got that, and that was a Chocolate City and part of the Casablanca thing, what was his name? Neil Bogart? Is that the cat who was?
Neil Bogart was, but I think he had moved on by the time I got there. I was probably one of the last artists that got signed on Casablanca before it, kind of went kerplunk.
Right. No doubt. And that was right around.
I probably single-handedly took it down.
No, you didn't. It was coincidence. Final question. Another one of those things that you mentioned. I always like to jump off points from things that we had talked about in the other interview. I wish I had heard more about. Later chapter in your life by far, and later chapter in his life too, ironically. Greg Allman, you said it happened that you ran into him late in, it was about 2010, you said in our interview. Explain because you said something cool. You said he kind of took you under his wing or took you into his inner circle. And not many people say something like that. Provide some context to that.
Well, it was at the Ryman. He requested, he got a Lifetime Achievement by the Americana Music Associations. And he asked me, he said, who do you want to present it to? And he picked me. So that's where I got to know him, and he just, he clicked. He liked my music. He'd been playing. He knew all about what I was doing.
But you hadn't met before this?
Never had met him. So then after that, I just started running into him places. I did when I ran into a lot of situations. I ran into him. I'd run into him in hotel lobbies, just all kind of places, just running into him. And he was so cool. He was such a young spirit, He was just, I don't think he ever really grew up like a lot of musicians. We don't really grow up. We kind of stay kids.
Other times you played with him?
I forget, there was the guitar player he should have, because I taught Warren Haynes. He has a Christmas thing in Asheville. And I went there, and then we did a thing with Greg Allman and Warren Haynes and myself. We did an acoustic thing. I think we did a Robert Johnson song there.
Come On In My Kitchen, maybe?
Might have been. Yeah, might have been.
Okay. You're a very generous man, and I appreciate you taking just a little bit of time during your big run of dates here at the Blue Note Hawaii. And this is your first time at this venue, right?
Yes, this is my first time at the Blue Note, any Blue Note.
Well, hopefully this is not going to be your last time at this one. I'd love to have you come back, and if you come back, maybe we can spend some more time together. And I'm grateful that you just were generous like this to accommodate me. It's the great Keb Mo here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Glad to be of service. Hey, everybody, it's Keb Mo joining you. I'm sending you a big aloha, and to all of our members out there, I'm adding a big mahalo to that. You know why? Because I'm grateful for your support of HPR. I was thrilled to be a guest here with my good friend Dave Lawrence, but Dave shocked me. Dave showed me the bill for his show, All Things Considered, and I'm not kidding. I almost dropped my guitar, but I always catch it, you know what I mean? Luckily, I didn't, but I did realize that together, if we all make a little contribution, that we can cover the bill very easily. You do know this is a non-profit radio station, right? We buy this show and then ask for people who listen to help pay for it. So come on with it and become a member today. Here's how you do it. And when you do, know I'm sending you a big mahalo.